If you like thrower flashlights that reach a super far distance, this review is for you. Today I'm looking at the Jetbeam RRT-M1X Raptor, a LEP light where the main LED has been replaced with a laser excited phosphorus module, producing a crazy amount of throw and a very tight compact beam. It also has Jetbeam's rotary control here, which I'll talk about. Thanks Jetbeam for sending this light to me to look at and review. It's with your support that I'm able to continue to receive awesome lights like this. So if you're not already following me on social media, make sure you check out the description below to give me a follow. Here is the packaging that the light comes in, and I'll insert a bigger picture here so you can see the whole thing, but it's a pretty basic plastic case. It's just got a sticker on the front here and just has these little bits of stats here. Now it only produces 480 lumens. I'll get into that more in a minute here, but the real number here is that Candella, 1.32 million Candella. That's what you really want to know here. It can throw to 2,300 meters. It is a generic case, unfortunately, and it's just got generic foam fitting in here where the light came just like that. You don't get a lot in terms of extras. You do get a lanyard, which you can use if you wish. I'm not a big lanyard guy. You get a manual that's in English and I assume Chinese. You get a warranty card, a certificate of approval. You get a USB charging cable. Unfortunately, this one is micro USB here, very short. And you get a bag of extras, a couple extra O-rings, and a extra boot for the switch. So looking at the construction here, the RRT-M1X Raptor is made from aluminum and has Jetbeam's popular kind of gunmetal finish. It's almost a little bit sandy colored. It's almost like a gray tan color, and I really like this finish. And I found out it's a pretty durable finish too. As you can see here, during testing, the light fell out of my pocket and hit concrete from about a meter up and scratched here and scratched here at the back. Unfortunately, I've tested the durability here and it's durable. The design is similar to the M1X WPRX that it replaces. Starting at the tail cap, you can see you've got places here, wings to put your lanyard in and kind of protect that positive switch here. It is a old-fashioned mechanical switch with a pretty loud actuation. The tail cap itself has some kind of flat knurls on it. Threads inside are square cut and nicely greased, and there are springs on both sides here. You do have that rubber grip there for a tactical kind of cigar grip if you like. It does that. The body section does come off of the light here in the middle, as does the tail, so I can show you that there. There is a pretty big spring there at the back. It is non-reversible. On the body tube itself, you've got just minimal engraving. You've got the model number of the light, and it's the Response Tactical Light Series and your serial number. You've got the Jetbeam logo and just a little bit of engraving here at the head that it's hot. I do like the head design here. You've got that switch, which is cool. I'll talk more about that in a minute at the UI section, but it goes about 180 degrees, a little bit over, and 5 detents. You've got some cooling fins here. This light doesn't get super hot, so that's nice and they work well. And the head grows in size substantially, and you've got these areas that are scalloped out. I like the way these look, and they are nice for weight saving and just design as well. You've got a bit of straight knurling here. The top of the front bezel here is aluminum. You have just ever so lightly scalloped edges there. A little bit of light does leak out, and you can see then it's got a big lens here. You can kind of see the reflection of the camera. It is anti-reflective coated, and there is no reflector in there. It's all mirrors in this light and lenses that shape the beam. This does unscrew fairly easily and lets you take off the lens. I didn't go deeper than that just because I didn't want to damage the light. This is kind of expensive and I wanted to keep it for future use. So here is the size of it next to a US dollar bill. I measured it as 183 millimeters long. Minimum diameter on the body was 26.6 millimeters. Maximum diameter overall was 61 millimeters. I measured the weight here at 334.9 grams, so it's a little bit on the heavy side. And here are a few pictures of what it's like compared to other similar flashlights. And the light is IPX8 water rated. Instead of an LED, the RRT-M1X uses a LEP, or laser excited phosphorus, as I was explaining before. Jetbeam calls this the WP-T2 LED, but it's really not an LED. It's the LEP work using a blue laser emitter on a layer of phosphor to create a whitish beam that is then sent through convex lenses to produce that really tight beam. This is the second generation of LEP light from Jetbeam, and it's more of a compact system that allows for a single onboard design and much more compact than the previous system. However, it does have some weight. The head is where the majority of weight for this light is, even with the battery and battery tube off for the moment. The result here is a beam that is incredibly concentrated, and I can show you that on video light here. And because this is so concentrated, this is on low, which I believe is about 15 lumens, but we can easily see it. Normally we wouldn't be able to see 15 lumens on my table here with my video lights, but I can go up to medium and then high, and that's the full 440 lumens and 1.3 million candela. So that beam is extremely concentrated. At 8 feet, it's less than a 3-inch circle. It also basically has no spill like a traditional flashlight would, and this is a concentrated beam, so it does spread out a little bit at distance, but it's not much, and my night shots show that. I did a comparison with the Acebeam L17 that I've got here as well. Previously, my smallest but longest thrower to date, and the difference in beam is immense. The L17 has a very tight beam pattern as is, probably one of my tightest LED lights, but when compared it to the M1X, it makes it look like a flood. It's just a remarkable difference. Tint here definitely has a little bit of green tint to it, and there's no visible PDM to the eye or camera. Here are my night shots for the Jetbeam RRT-M1X Raptor. This is a LEP powered flashlight, so it's got that laser in there, which I've explained, and this thing is crazy. It's hard to film because it is so spotty. You can see the beam as I put it across the camera here. It's just super spot, and you can see it down here. I've got it in the high mode currently. That is 2,300 meters of throw, 7,446 feet, about 1.5 miles. It's crazy. You can see it's a very, very tight beam, very, very intense. I've got a medium and a low here as well. Yeah, it has those, but that's not really what you're after with this type of light. It is a rotary, which makes the interface really nice to use with gloves. You do have a strobe here. It's very, very fast, and then you have an SOS as well. But this is what you're really after. It's only 480 lumens, but lumens here isn't really what you're after. It's the throw. I'm at one of the best places that I've got here. It's up on a hilltop, and it is relatively dark here, but you can see at a distance, it just easily picks out. It's a very small beam. I can pick out the roof there. We can see these apartments over to the left. I can point out the roof, and they're pretty bright, which usually isn't good for a flashlight, but you can see as it's pointing out on the roof easily there, and even on the brightness of the building you can still see the light. This is just impressive. Everything about it is crazy impressive. So a little bit of comparison. Here's my previous Throw King in this kind of form factor and size, the Acebeam L17. It says an OSRAM LED in it. It throws to about 802 meters, 160,000 candela, and 1,400 lumens. You can see it's a lot brighter, wider beam, and this is really a tight beam for a flashlight, as you can see here, but it's nothing in comparison to the LEP of the Jetbeam. So there is turbo on the Jetbeam, over 1 million candela, 1.32 million candela, versus the 160 candela of the Acebeam. So if you need a thrower, the LEP style lights is your absolute best option. Tint here is a little bit green, a little hard to see on video, but not quite as bright white. So it's not as nice a tint, but it's just quite an impressive throw. So I'll throw up some stats here. It's important to note that LEP lights are not super bright in terms of lumens, only 480 lumens, but they are super intense. Jetbeam claims that it's 1.32 million candela. That's higher than my meter goes up, so I was unable to verify that, but I can tell you it's the most intense flashlight I own and throws the furthest. Runtime here is good to look at. First off, I was expecting this light would produce more heat because of how intense it is, but it doesn't. Maximum heat I saw was 32°C during testing, and that's at regulated temperatures. It does seem to have a timed step down to 50% relative output after 3 minutes. Compared with other LED-based throwers I have, this is really good because most LED-based throwers get pretty hot pretty fast. Total runtime here, starting on high with the included 5,000 milliamp hour 21700 battery, was 4 hours 42 minutes with several step downs along the way. And when the light shut off, I measured low voltage protection at 2.974 volts. You don't need a high output battery for this light either. Maximum amperage I saw was just under 3 amps. So this light's using a non-proprietary protected button top battery, and it's a little bit long, so you can choose any based off capacity versus performance. As I explained before, UI here is really simple with that Jetbeam rotary ring, and I love that. On the left here is your low, and you just click up. It's got 3 clicks to go from low, medium to high. So this would be the high setting. You've then got a strobe and then an SOS setting, and that's it. And everything's controlled with the tail switch here at the back. The recharging here is accomplished with this included Jetbeam 21700 battery, model number JR51. It's 5000 milliamp hour. The battery itself has onboard charging here via micro USB. It's got a small LED indicator here at the top, red when charging, green when charged. Very simple to use. I would have loved to see USB-C battery here instead of a micro USB, especially on such a premium light that's kind of expensive. It took a lengthy 7 hours and 13 minutes to fully charge the battery, which is really slow. Fastest charge rate I saw was about 3/4 of an amp, and it only decreased from there with the remaining 6 hours. So it takes forever. Fully charged, the battery measured 4.206 volts. My recommendation here would be to use your own charger like the VapeCell S4 Plus or X-Star VC4SL to charge at more reasonable rates. This battery can very safely handle 2 amp charge rates, and that cuts the charging time to less than half. And I tested the capacity of this battery at 4,785 milliamp hours. So the pros for me are this seems pretty durable after 1 meter drop onto concrete, which was an accident. It's crazy the amount of throw and the super focused beam that it produces. It's unlike anything else I've ever tried. And I love that rotary interface. It's really simple, it's easy to use, and it's great to use with gloves. The cons are LEP lights in general are more expensive than your typical flashlight. This is no different, but the performance is unparalleled when compared to LED lights. The supplied battery charges extremely slowly, so I'd recommend using an external charger rather than the onboard USB on the cell. And it's a non-proprietary battery with a low amperage requirement, which is great. I'm so glad that I've been able to try out a LEP light. I've been wanting to try one since I first learned about the technology. They are super fun to play with, but from a practical perspective, they are more specialized. This isn't the brightest flashlight I have ever tried, but it's the most intense in terms of Candella. The result is a light with a super compact, tight beam that goes a really far distance without the usual size or weight of most of your ultra thrower flashlights. I have a few doubts on if this is capable of throwing the claimed 2,300 meters in real world, or if that's more of a lab number. From what I can tell in my night shots is that it outperforms any of the LED flashlights that I have in terms of putting light on target at a distance, as long as you can deal with that small hot spot. Think of this more like a spotlight almost instead of a broader light. It basically has no spill at all, either at a distance or up close. So for very specialized tasks, maybe hunting, AceBeam does have an adapter where you can do a tail mounted pressure switch with this light, and you could put colored filters over the front if you wanted to. It would work well for that search and rescue mission or signaling. Elite makes a lot of sense. I don't think this is the best option for hiking or camping or power outages though. So I can recommend the Jetbeam RRT-M1X Raptor for you to tip your toe into the world of LEP lights if you don't already own one. So if you guys have a LEP light, let me know in the comments how you use yours. I'd love to find more scenarios where I can use this thing. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss future videos like this one to come out soon. Thanks for watching.